Good morning everybody, and welcome to a rather hot and sticky autumn. It really is. It's so hot today, it's unbelievable. And thankfully I'm not working today, but even so, I was working yesterday and it was rather hot and sticky in my bus as well. So unfortunately I've got that to look forward to over the next few days. But first, let's talk about what's on today's video. Today's video is mainly about new stuff that's arrived and to come. But I just wanted to quickly start off with some housekeeping, and I wanted to say a massive thank you to my very dear friend John Warner over at Piccadilly Model Railway. For kindly giving me the shout out on his video for the decoder that I sent him, and hopefully that decoder will work just as well for him. But also he's kindly, as we all know, he's just a dab hand with his 3D printer, and basically he's been printing me off, kindly offered to print me off some new seating for my station. I've been oohing and ahhing on eBay about getting some seating for my station, some more modern seating, but to me it just seemed a bit too ridiculous prices. And I was having a conversation with John about it, and he kindly offered to do these for me, and I'm so grateful and thankful. They're absolutely wicked. I really do appreciate them. This is how they come, like so, and it's just like a flat back to them. But I'm going to, on the platform 1 and 2, where I've got the bay platform, I'm just going to put them both together so they sort of look right up against each other like that, like so. I haven't actually done anything with these as such as yet. It's purely because A, it's been to do with my work commitments, and B, it's to do just having the energy to do it, to be honest. As the weather's getting hotter, I guess it's just harder and harder to find the time and the energy to do things, because you just get tired so quickly. So I haven't actually, and the other thing about these seating is that I don't want to paint them, because these are raw as they are. So I would like to paint them, and I also want to get some people and sort of have them pre-made, seated, and have these benches all glued up, so I can literally just plonk them on the layout as a complete unit, rather than just sort of glue one bit to the platform, then glue the other bit, and then glue the seat in, and then paint it or whatever. So I just want to just do it all away from the layout, and then basically just take the two ends, or if it is the two sides, and just plonk it straight onto the layout. But I haven't got the people yet for it either, so that's something else that I need to get, which is another reason why this has been slightly delayed, but it will be on there sooner rather than later. Something new that it's also come to the layout, so as well as the seating, so thank you once again, John, very much, thank you so much, was this. And this isn't actually got anything to do with the layout as such, but what it does bring to the layout is new camera angles. This is basically a selfie stick that I got off of eBay, and I've already put it to good use, as you've seen in some of the clips. It's basically so I can get some video footage from some of the harder to reach places of the layout, and this is it as it comes, and then you just sort of flip it open, then you just put your phone on there, and then it's like a telescopic thing, and then you just kind of put it out. The bit that's just dropped is a little remote control, so it's a Bluetooth remote control, so you can actually record some footage and things. So it's really, really cool. I really like it a lot, and yeah, it does a really good job. So like I said, you've seen it in action already. Some of the shots that you may have seen on my running session, which are quite new, that you may not have seen before, they were captured with the selfie stick. So it does get right to the back of the layout, so that's really cool. So it's a nice little inexpensive little gadget to help me do some additional recording. Next on my list of things to talk to you about, let's just put these bits here. Actually, I'm gonna, yeah. So next on my list of things to talk to you about is this. Now this is my Class 73 Pullman. And it's a beautiful, beautiful locomotive. I've had this sound fitted with Coastal DCC sound, and you guys are probably thinking to yourself, yeah, I've seen this, it's not new, it's not new at all, you know, you've seen it, you've heard it, and this is true. But what you may not know is that Hornby have released this as a DCC ready 73 in their catalogue, which I didn't know. I saw it today in Paul's model shop, and I was wondering whether or not it was the same as the one that I've got here. And it is, but it's an updated version. It's still 73101, but to be honest, it's a more detailed version of this one in the railway range. It hasn't got the D couplings, so it's got the NEM couplings. It's DCC ready, and like I said, and the front is more detailed than this. So if you are interested in this and you like this, then may I suggest you have a look at the Hornby catalogue for it, because it is out there, it is available. I've seen it today in Paul's model shop, and the price is ridiculously low. It is so low, like you wouldn't believe. It only costs £67. I think £67.41 he was selling it for or something. So if you want a Class 73 in the Pullman livery, on the cheap, brand new, you can get one from Hornby at £67, which is just unbelievable. When you consider the pricing of today's locos, it is very, very cheap. It's less than half the price of a Bachmann, you know, sort of thing. So, you know, that's kind of where we're looking at, you know. So if you are interested in one of these, then by all means, take a look at the Hornby catalogue. And like I said, it's a lot more detailed than this one. The front especially, I've actually seen it today on the shelf, so I can tell you that. And it's got the name, like I said, it's got the name sockets, and it will be DCC ready, so you won't even have to hardwire it. You just have to plug in an 8-pin chip and away you go. And that's what you can do. Or you can do what I did, is put a sound chip into this and let this go. So that's that. So that's just to bring you, sort of put that in your kind of inbox. Like I said, I'm not going to buy it because I've got this one and it runs sweet, and I love it to bits, and I love the sound on this. So that's cool. But like I said, if you are on the market for a Class 73, so like I said, this is the original Lima 73, you can get the upgraded 73 Pullman by Hornby. Then we move on to the really, really exciting bits for the layout. So a lot of this is to do with locos and stuff like this. And today, well, not today, but I'm going to show you today, but I've had it for a little while. I bought a new locomotive, and this is the first one. And this is a Class 59 Yeoman Highlander 59003, and it's the GBRF, and the R number is R3760, Class 59. This is the box for it. Now, the irony is actually the 66s are cheaper and they've got the sleeve, and this is actually slightly more expensive at £76, which it cost me, and it hasn't got the sleeve and everything. But I'm going to show you it to you. Now, the first thing I have to say is that this particular 59 I'm going to show you looks nothing like the one you'll buy from Hornby. This has had like a pretty hefty makeover. I am tempted to put sound into it. It hasn't got sound in it, and it hasn't got lights. But in terms of what it has had done, it has had quite a lot done to it. So the first thing to sort of show you with this 59 is that there were so many things missing and so many things wrong with the original 59 that Hornby brought out. It's just basically bits that, it's just detailing bits that are just not there and not picked out and missing. So if we move to the sides, I've done the usual kind of weathering on the sides, and I've picked out the steps, which it isn't picked out. The handrails weren't picked out, so I've done that. Like I said, the paint job on the chassis was not picked out. That's just the plastic that you get with the normal 66s. So again, so that's been painted and then weathered with some frame dirt attached to it. The sides themselves, this isn't like the bright blue Hornby blue that they use on their GBRF locos. I've basically shoe polished it on the sides with black shoe polished, and that tones down the blue and makes the blue look a lot darker than what it actually is. So that's giving it a kind of like more dull effect. That's what I've done, like I said. Also, so that covers the sides. So I've literally just done that, and that tones down the sides, and now it's not as blue and as bright as in your face as it is before. On the front ends, if I take you to the front here, you can see, I don't know how well this is going to pick this out, but you can see that I've changed the buffers on it. This has got the class 92 buffers on it because the class 66 buffers are wrong. These are more rectangle, which are the ones that are on the 92s. So I've swapped them out, got them from Peter Spares, swapped these out. I've also added the hazard warning signs, I think they are on the two front bits, which the original one has. I've also added the class 59003 number on the front there, like the one has, the real one has. But again, Hornby haven't put this, the number or the hazard things on there. They haven't even put the headlight on the top either. So I've done that. I've just drilled a small hole with a pin drill and then glued a track fixing pin to it, and that creates the headlight for it. Something else that wasn't picked out was the cant rail strips. There was no cant rail, which is the orange line or that runs along the top of it. Again, that was completely missing. That wasn't on there. So that's something else that I've done. And then also I've been experimenting with the roof, and I've also toned that down and experimenting with some frame dirt, which you can sort of see how it's kind of darkened off. And yeah, so I'm really, really pleased with this because now it looks really, really cool. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a lot better to what it was, and it looks more like a model than a toy. And it's just a few simple things that can be done. I'm not going to say the cant rail was simple because that was just a pain. That just took me forever to do because it was just such a nightmare to do. I'm not quite sure why Hornby have missed it out, because on their 66s by GBRF, they have put the cant rail strip on there, but on this one for some reason they missed it out. I don't know if it's this particular one that they've missed it out or whether it's just all of them. It seems really quite bizarre. I also found out that one of the things that prompted me to do the headlight on the top was that on one end there was a hole and on the other end there was no hole. So it just was really odd. It's like they've done one end but they forgot to do the other end, or maybe somebody started putting the headlight in and then somebody said, oh no, you don't need it. I don't know. It was just really bizarre how it came about. So in the end, I decided to have a look at the proper photographs, and it turns out that this particular one did have headlights on the top, because obviously it's been taken over by GBRF, so it's repainted and upgraded from the original spec. So now it looks lovely and it runs really nice as well. So that I'm really, 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 really pleased with. So that's fantastic. It looks really nice now on the layout. It runs really nicely. And it's had a lot of mileage on my layout already, because I've just been kind of adding bits and pieces to it and doing various bits and pieces. And also I'm learning as I'm going along as well, because this is the first locomotive where, I did say this before, with the 66 Freightliner, it was the first that I really completely weathered. But I've taken this one stage further by experimenting with the roof dirt and trying to see about, probably from a distance you might see it a bit better, just to see how that works. And I've had a go at it and I really like the results. So it might be something that I might go on doing moving forward. Weathering is something that I would really like to learn more and more about. And Hornby, these Hornby 59s and Hornby locomotives, these cheaper range ones, are an ideal way of learning how to weather locomotives, because at the end of the day, if they go wrong, it's not the end of the world. But I've really liked what I've done with that. That looks really smart. I think once it's on the layout and you see it running, I think you'll sort of truly see, you know, how much of a difference it is having a weathered locomotive to a non-weathered locomotive. So, on to the next bit. Now this bit is extremely exciting. And the reason for this will become apparent very, very, very shortly. This particular item I've been oohing and ahhing for quite a few months now. And as many of you will know, I have a keen interest not only on trains but on planes. And so this was a particular item which kind of ticked all the boxes in the right ways. And basically it's a train pack that I bought today. Like I said, it's been sitting on the shelf in Paul's model shop for some time, and I've been oohing and ahhing over it for a long time. And I decided to take the plunge with this train pack because I think, to be honest with you, like I said, it ticks all the boxes. So I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'll explain why it ticks all the boxes. So the train pack I got, and this is my third one because I've got two. I've got the Capital Commuter and the Permanent Way one, and they were both exceptional value for money, and this is no different. When you think about how much the prices have gone up for locomotives, and they will only go up, they won't be going down. So, and even trying to get second-hand examples of things is now getting to a point where it was like, they're not sub £100, even for second-hand examples. You're now paying over £100 for second-hand examples of locomotives and things. So here is the train pack that I bought. And this is the Avro Vulcan XH558 pack and the Spirit of Great Britain. Now, I've always had a lot, I'm not really into military aircraft as such, but there's certain military aircraft like the Vulcan, the Nimrod as well, quite like the Nimrod, and also I guess the Harrier jump jet and the Tornado, I guess, were the sort of ones that I kind of looked out in the military aircraft world. But I'm not a huge military aircraft person. I'm more commercial, so I prefer like the jetliners, passenger jetliners, like 737s, 747s, and all that kind of stuff. But I do love the Vulcan bomber. I always have done, and it's just, I guess it's because of its shape as well, and to do Concorde as well, it's very similar. And so I decided to get this from Paul today, and the princely sum of this was just £180, £179.99. And when you think about how much the prices are going up for things, this is a real steal in my view. I mean, a brand new locomotive from Bachmann these days, I think we're almost at about £160, I think, 150, 160 DCC ready, which incidentally this 37 is. It's not DCC fitted. So when you think about it, you're paying just the £20 for all this lovely extras, like this lovely presentation box and all the bits that you get inside, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, like I said, this isn't a particularly new item, but it's still available just if you look in the right places. And it's going to be a point that you kind of think to yourself, I want it, and then you won't be able to find it anywhere, and then when you sort of find one on eBay or somewhere like that, they'll be charging you extortionate amount of money. You just have to look at the Captain Tom Moore collector's pack from Bachmann, which they're selling on eBay for about 350 quid. You know, for essentially the same thing as this. It's a loco and some additional bits inside. So it's not too dissimilar to this, and yet people are trying to rip people off by saying, you know, you can pay anything between, I've seen it on eBay, between 290 to, I think it's about 400 or something, 390 or something like that, on eBay for that, and that's just ripping people off, to be honest, whereas this is 180. So let me show you what you get inside, and because I think you'll be really interested in this. So here is the Vulcan box, and it's a beautiful box. It's well presented, well made. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can get this in Engage. I'm sure that lots of people have probably done reviews in it, but in case you've missed it, that's what you get. And let's just spin you around and then flip the back up round. Absolutely gorgeous box, it really is. So we'll just open this up and see what you get. As per usual with these train packs, absolutely well presented. Now, I do know that the 37 has been tested, because he tested it in front of me. It hasn't been tested on DCC, and I'm going to have to pinch a decoder because I forgot to buy a decoder for it. But there are some lovely cards here that come with it. I guess they look like specification cards or something like that. Now, I used to be a picture framer, so it could well be possible that I end up putting these into a frame and actually have this framed and put it onto the wall, which I think I pretty much well do. I do love the Vulcan a lot. You get a certificate of authenticity, and you get this beautiful, beautiful poster, which I think, to be honest with you, really does deserve to be framed. So I probably will get round to doing it, and it might very well be that I create a picture frame big enough to take this and the cards alongside. I think that would be really lovely to have on the wall. Like I said, I am a fan of the Vulcan bomber, and also this is the 37 that you're going to get in here. And the thing is with this 37 is it's still mainline service today, so it's still running around on the main line. So therefore it's apt for what I use it for, and I'll be using it for my network rail test trains and stuff like that. That's what I'm going to be doing. And like I said, it's an absolutely beautiful poster, absolutely gorgeous. And then you come to the main pack, and you get some plates. You get the 2 Vulcan bombers. You get the loco plate, I think it is. And then obviously you've got your 37 here. And I've always wanted a large logo 37. Always wanted one. The thing is about this large logo 37 is that it isn't a Scottish one. A lot of the large logo 37s that are out there are Scottish based, and in terms of models and stuff like that, and I didn't really want one, and I wanted this one because it had more meaning. So I'm really pleased to have finally taken the plunge to get this. And then you kind of remove the sleeve. And then you've got this really nicely protected, it's just a bit of plastic just to protect everything that's inside. Like I said, this is so nicely presented. You've got a bag of detailing parts right at the top here. And I should imagine there's probably, there's also some parts for the Vulcan. So basically there's some landing gear, so if you want to put the wheels on, you can put the wheels on. So there's actually 3 separate bags. So there's some extra detailing for the loco and for the 2 Vulcan bombers. You get this lovely plate, metal plate, which is really, really nice. You get this plate as well, which is also etched and metal. And then you get, if I can get it out, oh, there you go. Here is one of the Vulcan bombers itself, the white version. And it's absolutely stunning. It really is. It's really beautiful. And you also get a stand for it, so you can mount it on a stand. Like I said, you've got the landing gear in a separate bag, so if you want to put the landing gear on, you can do that. And yeah, that's just really, really beautiful, to be honest. Love that. And the same goes for the camouflage version, which is the one I think I prefer the most. This is how I remember the Vulcan bombers, like this. It's absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. It's well done to Batman, to be honest. This is just a beautiful pack. Like I said, you get so much with this. And then you've got the locomotive itself, and like I said, Paul has tested this out for me, so I know it runs, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It really is. If I say to people I've got a brand new locomotive, people probably most likely assume that I've got a 66, but it isn't. It's a this one's a 37, which I'm so pleased with. It's just absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I've always wanted a large logo 37, but not a Scottish one. Nothing against Scottish region 37s, by the way. It was just my preference, and this was just like the perfect one because it ticked all the boxes. I don't know if there's anything underneath. I should imagine there might be some information pack underneath. Yeah, there is. There you go. Look. So you got some etched nameplates, which I suspected that you were going to get. So you've got the etched nameplates that you can fit. There's also some instructions here on how to fit the landing gear to your Vulcan. And then obviously the standard class 37 maintenance gubbins that you get, how to fit the decoder, how to remove the body and all the rest of it. So all I can say is, what a beautiful pack. It really, really is absolutely superb. Love it. So that's, like I said, I've loved all my train packs, to be honest. All the ones I've got. Like I said, I've got 3, and I do like the way Batman do them. And like I said, worth every penny, to be honest. It really is. It's just, yeah, it's just absolutely stunning, to be honest. It really, really is. So I'm really pleased with all that, as you can tell. I don't know whether to put this the other way around to protect it. But yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. And there you go. So this is the Avro Vulcan XH558, the Spirit of Great Britain Special Collector's Edition pack. And in my view, worth every penny that I paid for this. I'm glad I bought it. So before we move on to the layout, I do actually have a layout update for you. Excuse me, but that will be on a separate video. because otherwise this video is really going to be pretty long as it is. But there is quite a lot to show you that's changed. Some of it you would have seen via the running sessions, but I'd like to talk to you about that in more detail. But again, that will be a separate video. So now we're just going to go over to layout, and I'm going to show you some of the other bits I've been working on in between my work patterns and work shifts. So the next thing to talk to you about is my network rail test train. Now I've currently got this hybrid class 37, which I bought the body from Bachmann to replace the older rail freight body that it had on it. And so this has been running around happily with my test train. And this is one of the reasons why I also wanted to get the other 37, which I've just showed you, because that 37 is also currently mainline, that large logo one. It's still mainline, still runs, and it still does the network rail push-pull services with the DBSO on the back, which we'll get to shortly. So this is another reason why I wanted to have the large logo 37 added to the fleet as well. I should also point out that this coach just behind the DBSO is the new one that I bought a little while ago, and it's only just been attached. So we're going to stop it here, and I'm going to talk to you about my DBSO. So this is my DBSO, and this originally came to me via Michael Lawrence, who kindly built this for me and put this together for me, and I'm very, very grateful. Recently, in fact last week, it's actually had a refit. There were certain things that needed to be addressed that I was never really quite happy with, in terms of these DBSOs, a bit like racehorses. They've kind of got blinkers on the kind of sides of the windows, and on one of them, when it arrived, it was because they were glued as separate parts. It's come away slightly and had been needing to be addressed for some time. And I've kind of been living with it, but I finally decided to deal with it. And basically what I've also done is I've just basically removed it because it was just, I just couldn't get it to sit right properly. And so I took them off. What I've done also is I've opened up these windows because they were a bit too narrow before. So I've opened them up a bit more. I was looking at some of the proper photographs of 9702 DBSO to really try and get this quite right, and it does turn out that the windows were actually wider than what they were originally. I used some acetate to then reglaze the DBSO, and I've also repainted the DBSO because it used to be the colour match. It was more orange than the yellow, and it's quite noticeable. And it was one of those OCD things for me that was kind of bugging me. That it was a bit on the orange side, so I readdressed that and I've resprayed that with a Tamiya paint. And then what I did also is I painted in the tail lights and the headlights, and also got some transfers from Railtech to replace the ones that I scrubbed off when I sanded the front end down to redo and repaint the front. So now it looks, I'm happier with it. Definitely in terms of the yellow, it's definitely more blended in and everything like that. And I'd like to thank Michael once again for doing this for me. And again, so it's now been, I might refit the blinkers at some point. Again, that will probably be a really kind of, I'll have to get some really fine plastic card and do that to make sure that that fits. So we'll see how we go with that. But for now, this definitely looks to me more improved, just because of the colour match. I think the colour match is a lot more blended in with the rest of it. So I think that looks really nice now. And like I said, that can now run in conjunction with not only that Coalesce 37, but the other Coalesce 37 that I have, and now the large logo 37. So there are some options there to use. So this is, to me, I'm really pleased with this. And so finally for this video, we're going to talk about this little effort in front of you, my rather troublesome GWR HST. Ever since I bought this HST from Paul, and this is one of the sort of Hornby train set packs, it's never been the best of runners. And I've always put it down to possibly it's just either the motor, or maybe it just doesn't like the decoder, or I haven't found the right decoder. Because I have found that with certain locomotives, they don't like certain decoders, and other locomotives they do. And I've had this now for, gosh, probably going on for probably more than a year now. And I finally worked out what the issue is with this particular HST. As I've been getting rid of and culling some of my stock, I've been taking out and keeping the decoders. And I had a number of 8-pin decoders knocking about. And this is what this HST uses. So when I took the body off, to try and test out, to see if I could work out and get to the bottom of this issue with this HST. It turns out that there's I personally think it's a design flaw with Hornby, basically because this is like the old Lima, and I think even the new Super Detail Hornby ones I think are similar, but basically, don't quote me on it, but they've got 2 screws, one there and one there. And basically they secure the chassis to the body. Unfortunately, Hornby have decided to put the PCB board for the lighting and for the connections pickups right next to the hole at the front end, about there. Which means that you have to be really, really careful not to pinch or trap the wires when you screw the body back on, which to me is just ridiculous. Anyway, that wasn't actually what the problem was, that I trapped the wire. The problem is that because the wires had to be wrapped around in such a way to avoid the hole, so it didn't get trapped, that it made the wires brittle, and eventually one of the black wires had literally just come off, and one of the motor wires. So that suggested to me that this particular HST may have had this issue from day one, where it had this faulty wire that was making connection but not a proper connection, which is why it kept stuttering. So I've resoldered the wire, the same chip, it still didn't like it. I swapped another chip and now it runs perfectly, because the problem it was having is that it seemed to run okay at higher speeds, but at low speeds it couldn't cope. So now it seems that this particular HST can leave at slow speeds, and it's now running as it should do. So I'm really pleased that this particular HST, the railroad version GWR, is now back online. So if you do have this problem with your GWR HST where it does stutter, just check the wiring on the PCB board, because I didn't think anything of it, because ultimately this was a brand new locomotive. So I didn't feel there should be any issues with it, but clearly there was. That only came to light near enough a year, if not over, down the line, that I've worked out that it was one of the wiring that wasn't making the right connection. So let's send it off so you can see it at a crawl, and as you can see, it's crawling along. Like I said, it's not as smooth as a super detailed one, but I tell you what, it's a lot better to what it was, and I've had it running at quite a lick and it's fine. And there you have it. As you can see, she's coming to a stop and being able to leave at low speeds now, which she couldn't do before as she kept on stuttering and spluttering. So this concludes the end of today's probably rather lengthy video, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it, and please feel free to comment and subscribe if you wish. And in saying that, just before we go, there was a shout out that I wanted to make out, and that was to a layout called Warwick Road. He's only just got a couple of videos up, but it is modern, and it's a rather sizable layout. It is a work in progress, and so go and check out his channel if you feel like it's something that interests you. It's Warwick Road. So a lot of it is to do with GWR, 66s, and stuff like that. So if that is your cup of tea, he's only got 2 videos up, only 7 subscribers. He's only just started the channel, but worthy of a mention. There is actually another channel that's worth mentioning that I'm trying to think, but I've just lost it. So on the next video, if I remember to mention him, I will. But until the next time, it's goodbye from Milden Horn Farmer. Goodbye.